next we have Anthony Marr.
I've been a long time anti-hunting activist, but since hunting has been covered by these three gentlemen preceding me, I'm going to take a totally different tact. I'm going to talk about how what we do on a day-to-day basis impact on millions of species of animals, particularly in terms of global warming. Now, global warming is a household word now, even though it's hotly disputed in North America. Even though it's hotly disputed in North America, there has been a survey done by Nielsen that shows that the United States ranked the lowest among Western countries in recognizing global warming as a problem that impacts on global wildlife. Now, we are talking about not just a few species. We are not talking about just driving the polar bear to extinction or the harp seals because of the melting of the Arctic sea ice. We are talking about potentially 70 to 80% of all the species on Earth being driven to extinction by 2100. That, in my opinion, is one of actually the worst abuses of animals ever in the history of humans, because we are denying their very basic right to just simply exist. And I will use one or two examples to show you how incredibly damaging we are our actually day-to-day behavior, whether we are hunters or not. Our day-to-day behavior does have huge impact on life on Earth. And I will just use the Amazon rainforest as an example. Today we have approximately 20 million species of animals and plants existing on the Earth today. And we are currently going through the 6th major extinction of life on Earth. And over the last 600 million years or so, there's been 5 major extinctions. Only one of them was not caused by climate change, and that was the one that we know the best, and that's the one that destroyed the dinosaurs about 64 million years ago. But the other 4, numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and today's 6 are all based on climate change, and the damage was immense. The one that wiped out the dinosaurs was the one that was the least impactful in terms of the amount of species being wiped out. Only about 30 or 40% only, quote unquote. Number 3, which happened about 251 million years ago, that was at the end of the Permian period, straddling the Permian in the Triassic, was probably the one that was the most similar to what happened today, what is happening today. And that one destroyed 75% of all land species and 95% of all marine species. And that, if applied to today's climate change scenario, would wipe out about 15 to 18 million species. And the Amazon itself contains 1/3 to 1/2 of all the species on Earth, which means if there were 20 million species on Earth today, we are going to lose about 1/3 in the Amazon, which is about 7 million species or up to 10 million species. Now, just because of our one species misdeed, our own greed, short-sightedness, a lack of ethical behavior, wiping out millions of species, I don't think that we can spiritually redeem our species in any way, shape or form, however much time we give ourselves in the future. We cannot recreate these species that are being driven to extinction. So I'm going to show you something about the Amazon. When we're talking about the Amazon, what we think about usually are immense beauty, biodiversity, greenness, green, all over, all the time, and you know, every single square mile comprising thousands of species interwoven into food webs
that are parts of a huge food web. That's the Amazon, and this is what we're thinking about usually when we think of the Amazon. And in every single square, let's say, football field, there would be probably thousands of species and maybe 30 or 40 species linked up in one intricate sub-food web, which would constitute a part of the major food web that constitutes the Amazon's biodiversity. So this is the Amazon that we think it is. However, if we take a look at what's happening today, first of all, the Amazon is on fire. If you just take a look at this map, this is human deeds impacting on animals and plants in a major way. Each one of these red dots is a fire, separate fire. And the hay and the clouds, it is not actually clouds, but haze and smoke. And the Amazon burning was driven by several things. One is slash and burn agriculture by the native, not the native, but the Brazilian people that are displaced into the forest, and they just slash and burn one field, and then they would just convert that into a piece of agricultural land that would last 3 or 4 years, and then it becomes very infertile. They'll move on and slash and burn some more. So that's one thing that's happening, and that is slash and burn agriculture. And the Amazon is